No wonder the United States and its allies are deeply concerned. China has crossed a milestone that few predicted it would reach so quickly. The production of its Chengdu J-20 stealth fighter has now exceeded 300 operational units. This is not simply an industrial achievement. It is a declaration of intent, a message to Washington, Tokyo, New Delhi, and Canberra that the balance of power in the skies of Asia and perhaps beyond is changing before our eyes. According to the South China Morning Post and independent verification by Jane's Defense Weekly, China's Air Force has reached a scale of stealth capability, second only to the United States. For the global defense community, the number 300 carries symbolic and strategic weight. The J-20, also known by its NATO reporting name Mighty Dragon, did not begin as a weapon of awe. When the first prototype flew in January 2011, critics in the West mocked it as a flashy prototype built for domestic propaganda. They pointed to its reliance on Russian engines, its unconventional canard design, and the lack of evidence that China could mass-produce such a complex machine. Many doubted that it could ever match the F-22 Raptor or even compete with the F-35 Lightning II. But a decade later, the skeptics have been silenced. What once seemed like an ambitious gamble has evolved into one of the rapid stealth production programs in history. The timeline itself is revealing. After years of secret development under the Chengdu Aircraft Industry Group, the J-20 entered limited service around 2016. By 2017, mass production was underway, supported by expanded factories, new supply chains, and an industrial push endorsed by President Xi Jinping himself. The Chinese leadership made air power modernization a cornerstone of its plan to transform the People's Liberation Army into a world-class force by 2035. According to Global Times, the annual output of J-20s has risen steadily, from a handful of jets in the early years to nearly 50 per year today. By comparison, the United States took decades to build its fleet of stealth fighters. In terms of numbers, the J-20 fleet now surpasses the entire inventory of F-22 Raptors, of which only 186 were ever produced. It still lags behind the massive F-35 program, which has delivered over 1,000 aircraft worldwide. But the comparison is misleading. The F-35 is a multi-ruled aircraft built in vast quantities for NATO and allied nations, while the J-20 is a heavyweight air dominance fighter designed almost exclusively for China's strategic needs. That difference matters. Design-wise, the J-20 stands apart. Its long fuselage, blended body, and forward canards give it a distinctive profile unlike the Raptor or Lightning II. Some experts questioned whether canards could be compatible with stealth, but Chinese engineers seem to have solved much of the radar's signature problem through shaping and advanced radar-absorbent coatings. The aircraft is equipped with an active electronically scanned array radar, advanced infrared sensors, and a data fusion suite that integrates battlefield information from multiple platforms. In theory, this makes the J-20 not just a stealth aircraft, but a node in a larger systems of systems approach to modern warfare. The heart of the J-20's lethality, however, lies in its weapons. The PL-15 Beyond Visual Range air-to-air missile is believed to have a range exceeding 200 kilometers. American defense officials quoted in The Diplomat warned that this weapon was specifically designed to hold U.S. air tankers and AWACS aircraft at risk. Without tankers and airborne early warning, U.S. fighters cannot maintain their presence over the Pacific for long. In addition, the J-20 carries the PL-10 short-range missile for dogfighting, making it deadly at both extremes of engagement. Some reports suggest the internal bays can be configured for precision-guided bombs, giving the fighter a limited strike role as well. Engines have long been the Achilles heel of the J-20. The earliest versions relied on Russian AL-31F engines, which lacked thrust and limited maneuverability. but most of the new models are powered by China's own WS-10C, which is said to rival the power plants of fourth-generation fighters. More importantly, the next-generation WS-15 engine is nearing completion. According to Aviation Week, if the WS-15 delivers as promised, the J-20 will gain true supercruise, the ability to fly supersonic without afterburners. That capability would put it on par with and perhaps beyond the F-22 Raptor. From a strategic standpoint, the scale of the J-20 fleet forces new calculations. With 300 units, China can deploy stealth squadrons along multiple fronts simultaneously. Bases near the Taiwan Strait, the South China Sea, and Western China now host J-20s, confirmed by satellite images published by the War Zone. This means Beijing can apply pressure not only on Taiwan, but also on Japan, India, and U.S. forces stationed in Guam and Okinawa. Unlike a token force of a dozen aircraft, 300 stealth jets provide redundancy, rotation, and sustainability in protracted conflict. For the United States and its allies, this is a nightmare scenario. Air and Space Forces magazine warns that the J-20's ability to threaten support aircraft undermines the very structure of American air operations. Losing just a handful of tankers or AWACS could cripple an entire air campaign. Japan's defense white papers now highlight the J-20 as a priority threat. India worries about squadrons stationed in Tibet, while Taiwan views every new delivery as a step closer to losing control of their skies. Still, limitations persist. PLA pilots, while increasingly well-trained, lack real combat experience. Unlike American aviators, who have flown stealth missions in Kosovo, Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria, Chinese pilots remain untested in live war. Logistics also remain an open question. Producing 300 aircraft is one thing. Sustaining them in wartime with spare parts, maintenance crews, and electronic warfare support is another. Neutral analysts argue that until China proves its ability to fight and sustain a high-intensity air war, the true value of the J-20 remains partially theoretical. Nevertheless, the symbolism is undeniable. A country once dismissed as an imitator now produces hundreds of stealth fighters of its own design. Russia, once the technology supplier, lags far behind with fewer than 30 Su-57s in service. Europe, for all its industrial might, still relies on fourth-generation aircraft. Only the United States fields a larger stealth fleet, and even that dominance is now being contested. Looking forward, analysts predicted by 2030, China could field over 500 J-20s if production continues at current rates. Combined with the upcoming H-20 stealth bomber and improvements to naval aviation, this would give Beijing a triad of stealth capabilities across land, sea, and long-range strike. For the Indo-Pacific, the consequences are immense. American strategies must evolve. NATO must pay attention, and smaller nations caught in between must reconsider their defense postures. The conclusion is stark. With 300 J-20s in service, China has crossed a threshold. It is no longer a challenger hoping to catch up. It is now a peer competitor, capable of contesting the skies against the world's strongest air forces. The question is no longer whether China can build stealth fighters. The question is, will the West be ready when those fighters take to the skies in war? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more military and geopolitical analysis.